Why does it have to be an ox? Let's try that at some point when you have time, just to see, because that would be a way I could actually hear what you're hearing. Because you'd be hearing what I hear. And we'd be like, oh, hey, you don't get that, do you? Pause. There you go. Is there anything on my board that you don't get? You don't get you. To you. I can't exclude you on the main out? Okay. I knew there was a reason, I just didn't remember what it was. And by the way, hello, Paul and Lisa and Brenda. This is the exciting behind the scenes tech talk. Right. Oh, that was the other thing I needed to do. Me too. Uh, 68.1.1. Is that right? Do I have enough time to do this? Racing against the clock. Uh, sure. Put that there. That goes there. Don't rush me, Mr. Person. Right. Mr. Man Person. Okay, when the hell is it? MDR. There it is. Is that it? Maybe. Is that the other one? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. The world may never know. Leprechaun, what up? Oh, I know why it's on there. Sorry, my bad.
Who's going to let us?
The question is, who's going to stop us? Adjust your mojo now. Thank you. The mothership has landed. Brad Staggs. A mighty Mojo 50.
Welcome back into your daily dose of reality, which can be good, it can be bad, but the best thing is it comes from two old, fat white guys. So you know it's unbiased. Unless, of course, you ask Joey Reed. Well, no, I mean, both of us are, two old, fat white guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we wear it proudly. You are new to the program. It's Real Ron Phillips over there, the floating head, and Real Brad Staggs here. You can join the program using the hashtag What I Learned Today. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
You asked me this before,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave me 2 sets of bad news. So give me the bad news first.
Sure you want the bad news?
Might as well. Let's get it out of the way. Well, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Will the good news offset the bad news?
Will
it make the bad news better?
Okay.
Just give me the bad
Jinx,
news.
you owe me a Coke. Bad news is the vaccine mandate is still looming on the horizon. The good news is that the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has said that they're going to keep it on hold for the immediate future. Yesterday, the Biden administration was defending its now stalled rule requiring COVID-19 vaccinations for employees at businesses with 100 or more workers effective January 4th. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy said it would be a setback for public health if federal courts continue to block the occupational safe and health regulations, November 5th emergency temporary standard. If we want to protect our workers, vaccine requirements will ultimately help us, Dr. Murthy told Fox News Sunday, and Chris, what's his face, he lapped it on up. Chris Wallace, by the way, is still a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the three-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit on Friday kept in place its stay on the Biden administration's vaccine mandate, saying it found a multitude of reasons to believe a legal challenge is likely to succeed on the merits. That right there is your good news. So this thing is stalled, and, well, if the justice system has any justice left in it at all,
Yeah.
which there are days I doubt that, this is probably the best news we could hear on the mandate, that it is the stay is going to be kept in place until this three-judge panel believes that it is constitutional, which I don't think that they will.
All right.
That's what I was going to.
That's what I was going to ask you. It's 3 judges only, right?
Yes.
Fifth Circuit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Notice you didn't really hear much of this on Friday when they did it.
So everything that we believe is all good and holy falls on 3
Yes.
people, right?
Yes. And I don't know if we know who the 3 judges are, because I think there are 17 on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, if I read it correctly. You know, despite the efforts of those involved in government to keep everything simple enough so that you and I simpletons can figure it all out, it's rather complicated to figure out who's where and who does what. I know that comes as a total shock and surprise to a lot of people who try to get to the bottom of a lot of different issues, but in fact, it is a little confusing when you try to follow the bouncing ball when it has anything to do with the Justice Department. Or should I call it the Injustice Department? Now, on so we'll talk about that here in a minute. Also, the Kyle Rittenhouse, I believe the closing arguments are today, are they not?
I think so. Yes.
So, what happens when they find him not guilty? You think all hell's going to break loose?
Well, the Wisconsin National Guard has already been deployed.
Here's the weird thing. He's everybody's out there, Joy Reid included, white privilege. He's a racist, blah, blah, blah. And it was 3 white guys.
Yeah.
3 white guys. 2 of which were, if you looked at their records, scummy by any standard. The third, who has trouble lifting a beer now with his right arm, was carrying a gun illegally. Now, the counter to that argument was Rittenhouse carrying a gun legally. So there's that. Oh, and the dude, bicepless boy, also aimed his gun at Rittenhouse before Rittenhouse shot him. So there's that whole self-defense thing. It's a lot like Joe Biden in this sense, because if you wanted to destroy America, I'm not sure you could do anything. You would have to do anything differently than what the Biden Harris administration,
Right.
notice that they haven't been pushing that lately. You wouldn't have to do a whole lot differently than what they've done. And likewise, the prosecutor in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, if he was trying to throw the case, I'm not sure he'd do anything differently than what he's been doing. Because have you ever seen anything more disjointed? The witnesses for the prosecution have pretty much made the defense's case. It's almost comical. It's really that strange. Let's see here. Also, and this is sad news, the Travis Scott concert down in Houston at the Astro World Festival,
Right.
that 9-year-old boy who was injured, he has now died.
So does that make him, was that 9 deaths?
Be number 10.
10 deaths.
Number
God,
10. The boy was Ezra Blount. He'd been in a medically induced coma in an attempt to overcome brain, liver, and kidney trauma. which was he trampled?
I don't know, Brad.
9-year-old kid. First of all, what 9-year-old kid at a have you looked up any of Travis Scott's lyrics? Boy, I sound like an old guy right now.
Well, look, a 9-year-old shouldn't have been there.
That was his favorite band.
I'm sure it was.
Favorite artist.
But if you knew what kids were listening to these days,
You sound older than I do now.
Dude, no, I'm telling you, I've got a 15-year-old.
That Elvis, if he keeps shaking his pelvis that way,
I
we're
know.
going to have serious problems.
Yep, and this is that.
And now look, what the hell happened to us? Or
so here's the best way to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new channel on Sirius XM called TikTok Radio.
All right.
It's Channel 4. Go to Channel 4 on your Sirius XM radio, if you have one, if you're using it, and just listen for 10 minutes.
It's called what?
TikTok Radio.
All right.
And it is literally all of the TikTok songs that are used on that platform. But it's the full versions, right?
Right. Oh, well, to be perfectly fair, there's one of your TikToks out there that's, what is it? Is it Justin Bieber? And I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's it called? I can't remember now. But
that's probably that's why she picks those songs, because they're top of the chart, if you will, in TikTok. And so people they will tag that song and then look at everybody who's using that song.
Right.
Same thing with hashtags. So that's why we let her do our TikToks. It's kind of weird, but bottom line is
you're contributing to the downfall of Western civilization. That's okay.
Apparently, yeah.
No, I'm all about free speech, and you can listen to whatever you want. But at some point, if the house is on fire, you think, okay, should we turn the hose on yet? I don't know. Or do we just follow the natural order of things, and at some point we just start crumbling?
Well,
it's the price of a free society.
It makes you realize that there are certain things that are important,
right,
and other things that you thought were important aren't just that anymore.
Right. Well, and here's I as you know, I have no problem with the F-bomb. I think that I'm fascinated, quite frankly, with how it became so verboten.
Yeah.
Where in history and I've, traced it back to Scottish and traced it to Germans and this and that. But at what point in time did someone say, oh, no, you can't use Ukfe because it is, it's bad? Because somebody made the word up somewhere along the line, whether, fornication without the consent of the king, this, that. We don't even know where the hell it came from, quite frankly. And at what point in history and what person...
Wait. Fornication without the consent of the king.
Yeah, it's that whole U thing and the V thing and it's the W. You know how they used to do funky looking V's and W's and all that back then?
I do.
Okay.
And so it viewed like the word.
I guess.
I got you.
So,
okay.
I mean, that's just one of the theories out there. It's kind of like the word shit. Ship high in transit, because the manure, if they shipped it on the bottom in the hold of the ship, and methane and blah 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 and sparks and boom. But
good point. Yeah.
But that I don't know that that's true either. That's been quote unquote debunked through the years. So where did we where in what period of time and who was it that decided that Ukfe was a bad thing?
Yeah.
And might I just say, a most versatile word.
That word can be used in
exactly
15 different forms.
Right. So again, it's one of those things. Now, with regard to song lyrics, I remember.
Oh man.
I remember, Olivia Newton-John. She had some pretty raunchy song lyrics back in the day, and I had to beg my parents to be able to listen to Olivia. No, wait, sorry, that was somebody else. I guess it's the general attitude. I was just looking at one of Travis Scott's songs, and maybe he is a great artist. I don't know. It's that whole rebel thing. But one of the songs is a stem and a cap, so it's which again, as you know, my stance on drugs. They should all be legal. Just don't come bitching to me or the government. But it's a razor thin line you walk. Whether it's free expression, free speech. At what point do you balance that with morality and what's good for the country and what's good for people's souls? It's a tightrope.
Yeah.
And generally, the harder thing to do is the right thing to do. But in the event of Travis Scott and that concert and the 9-year-old kid, it just seems to me a 9-year-old kid out that late. Now, obviously, this did not go well. And the cops had expressed reservations to Travis Scott prior to the concert that things were not going well. So this 9-year-old kid had cardiac arrest. He had his dad took him to the concert. All the people pushed in. They could not breathe, so he got crushed there at the up at the fence. And let me just tell you, you ever been crushed into something by a crowd?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is freaky as hell because
It's freaky. Oh, but put yourself in the father's position watching this happen.
right, yes.
I mean, I'm sure the father was
horrible.
being crushed too.
Yes, he
right?
was. He passed
But
out, as a matter of fact.
He could not do anything
Right.
to save his child.
So they took the kid to the Texas Children's Hospital as a John Doe. They didn't know anything about him, his name or anything, because he got separated from his dad. He finally was able to, when he came to, find his son Ezra, and so they said essentially this kid had cardiac arrest, damage to his heart. The boy also had damage to his liver and lungs, had swelling in his brain. Family obviously is devastated because this was supposed to be a father-son outing for them to bond. It's turned into something horrible and tragic. Agreed. So whether or not you agree with a 10-year-old kid being there, the bottom line is this: a father and his son going out for the evening, and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Which is horrible by any stretch. So, is Travis Scott he offered, I guess, to pay for the funerals of these people, which, as we know, ain't cheap. But to him, I mean, that's just pocket change. So we'll see. There will likely be a ton of civil suits out there, and it'll be a big old problem for Travis Scott, who will likely come through it just fine. Over on the Twitterverse here, Leprechaun, fornicate under command of the king. See, there's another one. He, the king, could deflower any maiden in the kingdom, hence give it up to the king. I've heard that one. I've heard others. I mean, and Van Halen. Great album, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon. I know, right? It's so you finally get to that point in life where you're like, these damn kids today.
I know.
You don't know what to do with them. They're going to ruin society, I tell you. By the way, pass the joint. Let's go, Brandon. I always thought it was fornication under consent of the king. So,
I don't know. There's a bunch of different of those phrasing, but it's all similar phrasing. In
Right.
other words, it all comes from consent of the king, right?
So who knows? Wow. All right. Squatching duck. Look at that.
He's such a butt.
Well, no, he's not anymore because you just got muted. Saddle effing tramp. What are these kids listening to these days? Speaking to an audience that was raised on Two Live Crew, Andrew Dice Clay, and more. Because, see, the difference is we as adults know how to handle it. It's always been the argument. We know how to handle these things. We know how to handle the words.
Right, but you were listening to those right there when you were young.
Bet your sweet ass I was.
But Two Live Crew, I was old enough about Two Live Crew. Andrew Dice Clay, I remember him.
Oh, man.
Probably my
Loved
high
him.
school years, yeah.
Priceless 6, I took Max and Gumball to a Godsmack concert when he was 4. But we had the luxury suite, or he would have never been there. And yes, he loved it. Good. Well, Maxon is a slightly different animal.
Different breed.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is, which is much like American Pride Roasters coffee. It is a different breed of coffee. It's a, I hate to say boutique, but let's just face it. It is a boutique brand, American Pride Roasters, made in the heartland of this fabulous country of ours by a real U.S. American with real U.S. American hands, real U.S. American bills to pay. And he has love for this real U.S. country. And if you didn't get in on the big doc on the, what was it, the 6th, last November 6th, that would have been about 10 days ago. If you didn't get on the big sale, the one-day sale, bummer for you. Everything's back up to full price, which, again, prices are going to continue to go up, and the reason is?
Inflation.
Yeah,
No.
there's that.
COVID. Inflation.
Yeah. COVID, inflation.
Biden.
The vaccine, the unvaccinated. There's any number of reasons. But coffee beans are getting more expensive. Shipping's getting more expensive. Everything's getting more expensive, but that's okay because the White House says that's good. So does MSNBC. So, when you have writing bigger checks to folks, remember, it's good. It's good. But go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com. You'll find your favorite, no doubt. I have found my favorite. It sits in front of me. And I don't get me wrong, I like my own brown bag. But I do enjoy Ron Phillips, Ron's sexual
chocolate.
And Ron sitting on the back of Prince's motorcycle there. Let's see. I have to do it backwards. So go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com and get you some today. Now let's see if I can do this. I think I can. But I'm not sure I can. Let me see if I can put this over on the other side. Well, you know what? No, you're just going to get to listen to this as and not see it. But it's a great TikTok thanks to Big Pharma Steve. And I had no idea that this was Men's Health Awareness Month. Did you, Ron?
I did not. No.
See, no one gives a crap about us. We're just men, But this is Dr. Glaucom Flecken with some advice for men right now, as I said. And here he is in a second. Hold on.
Wow.
It's a new system. Give me a break. Still trying to learn the new system.
I got a consult for you. Oh, Bill, I'm glad you're here. You are? Oh, yeah, it's Men's Health Awareness Month. Okay. When was the last time you examined your testicles, Bill?
Right.
What? I don't know. Bill, testicular cancer is the most common cancer among men between the ages of 20 and 40. Okay. All I ask is that once a month you gently roll your testicles between your fingers, paying careful attention to the size, shape, and contour.
I did that for you, Ron.
Okay, I'll examine my testicles. Can I give you a consult now? Hey, is that Bill I hear? Yeah, Bill's here. Did you tell him to examine his testicles? Oh, yeah, I just told him. Yeah, tell him to do it after he gets out of the shower when his scrotum is soft and relaxed.
Right?
Oh, good point. Bill, you want to do it? Yeah, I heard him. I'm right here. Much easier with a relaxed scrotum, Bill. Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. Hey, is that Bill? Yeah, Bill's here. Did you tell him about his testicles? Yeah, we told him. And tell him it's normal for one to hang lower than the other. Bill, it's normal for one to hang down lower than the other. Yeah, I know. Thanks. It's the right one for me. It's the right one for him. Oh, interesting. It's the left one for me.
See?
What is happening? Well, anyway.
Mojo.
What is happening?
But that's the beauty of it. Here's an idea. What if once a month you find, a buddy, for it doesn't matter which side of the plate you swing from, just a buddy. Well, it does kind of in this sense because I was going to merge this with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. See where I'm going with this.
Right.
So you get yours examined, they get theirs examined. It's a win-win. It's a win-win-win.
I've got that whole turn the head and cough thing on the 30th of this month.
Good for you. Did you want me to come over that day?
I do not.
No? Are you sure?
I prefer you not touch my junk. Thank you.
Sure?
Yeah.
I'd
never be able to look at you the same.
Oh, sure you
work
would.
together.
You would.
All that mess.
So there's a great piece over at PJ Media titled "The World is Going Full Commitard. It's Time to Stand Up." And they're right. The author of this piece, Kevin Downey Jr., no relation to Morton Downey Jr. or Robert Downey. Right. Completely different. I hate to be the boy who cried worldwide commie takeover, but have you seen what's happening around the planet? The people in charge are using an easily survivable flu to control billions of people. And remember, what happens in Australia doesn't stay in Australia. It's coming here, too. Just for funsies, watch this roughly 1-minute video of President Pee Pants and relish in his lie where he stated he would not mandate a vaccine and how he will ask people to wear a mask for, 100 days. You remember that? Remember him saying these words?
Remember. Yeah.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would do everything in my power. Just like I don't think masks have to be made mandatory nationwide. I'll do everything in my power as the President of the United States to encourage people to do the right thing, and when they do it, demonstrate that it matters. That's why I said in my inaugural speech, I'm going to ask people to commit for 100 days to wear a mask. Not because I'm asking it for any reason to punish. This is not a political issue. It's become one. But if people do it for 100 days, in the middle of what will be still a raging crisis, and the vaccine is able to be distributed, they're going to see deaths drop off the edge. They're going to see hundreds of thousands of people not getting sick. And my hope is they'll be then inclined to say, okay, it's worth the patriotic duty to go ahead and protect other people.
It's worth the patriotic duty to be able to go ahead and protect other people. I was almost a year ago he said that. I would say deaths have dropped by hundreds of thousands. Wouldn't you? I mean, we're seeing hundreds of thousands of people not dying, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how, just, less than a year later, he has completely flipped. We have the audio from his, if you'd forgotten, we'll call it his patience speech. Remember that one? Oh, we're patient with the unvaccinated, but wow, our patience is wearing thin. Remember all those fun quotes? Mm-hmm. We'll play that for you here in just a second to show you that we are slowly but constantly being, we're submerged in this water that is slowly boiling, and we better do something or we gonna die. Next on your Daily Mojo.
Happily promoting the 4F.
Clear. We gonna die.
We gonna die.
Themselves and others.
Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia.
And I'm Neuen of Cowboy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mainstream media has completely failed the American people. And
Haven't they?
Logic and Mojo 50, we will not fail you.
That's right. All you Mojo warriors out there, if you don't go to bed every night absolutely fatigued from trying to restore America from the destruction that's taken place, you're just not doing enough.
At Mojo 50, we will not fail you.
Well, I mean, would we fail you? I mean, no. When he says a man aged 50, it sounds like he's saying something about mayonnaise. With man aged, doesn't it?
Saddle effing tramp. That's funny.
Just, I regularly examine my testicles.
Large, symmetrically shaped, and of considerable heft.
Oh. Wow. As soon as I figure this out, it's going to be a genius setup. Over here. It really will be. It'll be amazing.
Yep.
The Daily Mojo.
Saddle effing tramp, true to form. Just to ease everyone's concerns, I regularly examine my testicles, and I can report they are large, symmetrically shaped, and of considerable heft. You're welcome. Ron, didn't you volunteer to check?
No,
Are you sure?
I'm not checking anybody's testicles
Oh, come on.
unless you pay me.
$10.
Nope.
1,000?
Okay,
Wow, that was easy.
I'm easy.
Wow, I would have held out for at least 10. Dr.
Tell
Mojo,
me you wouldn't do it for 1,000.
I would do it for
He's like,
$3,817.
You're a lion. You do it for 1,000.
$3,817.
Yeah, you'd do it for $999 just to beat me out for the money.
Well, no, I'm just thinking in terms of what bills could I pay off.
Oh yeah,
So
I got
if I do this,
$3,817.
right, $3,817. So, because once I do that, I'm like, okay, that one's
man.
gone. That's just, it's the way I do things. Dr. Mojo Martian, that video was offensive to men with no balls. Ooh, that's a good point.
Oh,
Sorry.
snap.
Sorry. Oh, which reminds me, Robin, I will get back with you. No, I seriously, I did. No, I'm serious because Robin left me or sent me a text yesterday, and I just realized I had not answered her. And Leprechaun says this.
Shit.
I mean, this.
Bullshit.
I'm not sure exactly what, too, but whatever it was. So there is the president. You just heard him. His less than a year ago, he swore up and down it wasn't going to be mandated. And then we got this speech from him, just in case, again, you forgot.
We raise our vaccination rate, protect ourselves and others with masking, expanded testing, and identify people who are infected. We can and we will turn the tide on COVID-19. It'll take a lot of hard work. It's going to take some time. Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, even though the vaccine is safe.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Choked on my coffee.
Effective and free. While the vaccines provide strong protection for the vaccinated, we read about and hear about and we see the stories of hospitalized people on their deathbeds, among the unvaccinated over the past few weeks. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Is it?
The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, are overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units, leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or pancreatitis or cancer.
Wait a minute. Isn't it pancreatitis?
That's what I think. Yeah.
Huh. So take your medical advice from a guy who can't. Yeah.
This is not about freedom
No.
or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
Ironically, in just a brief pause here, because following his logic, if we or you, whomever, the unvaccinated, are preventing people from, with a heart attack, etc., from, a genuine broken part on you, if the unvaccinated are causing the inability of these people to get into a hospital, what is he doing with the whole mandate and making healthcare workers, against their will in many cases, lose their jobs? Get the vaccine and lose their jobs, because that is doing, in effect, the same thing that he is blaming the unvaccinated for, right? Because if there aren't enough healthcare workers in the hospitals, you got the same result.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to have to PolitiFact him on that one, because, sorry.
The people you work with, the people you care about, people you love. My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated.
Right.
Or show a negative test at least once a week.
Right.
Some of the biggest companies are already requiring this. United Airlines, Disney, Tyson's Food,
That's Tyson Foods, but, who's counting?
and even Fox News. My message to unvaccinated Americans is this.
Here it is.
What more is there to wait for?
Creepy whisper.
What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 2
Well, and did you catch that?
I did.
The vaccine is FDA approval. So technically, he didn't say it's FDA approved. He said it's FDA approval. Sometimes being an idiot is beneficial.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that here in a sec.
100 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. You've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
Right. But again, strangely, when you start looking at, and he, let's remember, he gave that September 9th. And just Friday, the appeals court again has continued the stay on the OSHA mandate, which, of course, it's not OSHA's job to do what the president is having them do. There is a, how do we frame this? Ron, I think the best way to do this is to provide as a public service. As a public service, we are going to play for you some samples of interviews, speeches, etc., that have been debunked. And we are playing these for you so that you know this is not what you should listen to.
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah, don't listen to these.
Don't listen to these. We are doing this as a public service so that you know when you hear things like this doctor in Stillwater, Florida, that you realize
you should not attempt to use this information.
Right. Do not.
Yeah.
It's simply our public service on helping you see and hear bullshit when we see it. So with that said, here is Dr. Kevin Stillwagon at a, it was a town hall meeting. What?
That's still not going to work.
Yeah, I think it will.
Okay.
Dr. Kevin Stillwagon at a town hall meeting in Clearwater, Florida. Remember, this is utter horseshit.
Horse crap.
Yes.
This so-called vaccine is still being administered on what's called an emergency use authorization. It is not FDA approved. The FDA approved a biological licensing application for a product called Comirnaty. The application was approved, not the product. Comirnaty is not available in the United States. Therefore, by law, you cannot force people to take this drug without informed consent and without animal trials to prove that it is safe. Mayor Demings, please look at me. You, sir, are in violation of the United States Constitution and the Nuremberg Code. You will be held accountable.
And there you have it. Again, that has been debunked. We are playing that simply as a public service.
Correct.
So
Yep,
that
yep,
you realize when you see and hear these things, bullshit. All right. Do not be swayed, influenced, or otherwise mentally challenged by the words of obvious shyster doctors. I think that might work. I think it might work.
You think?
I think so.
I don't think it'll work.
Ixnay on it. I mean,
You might get it on the appeal. So.
Okay. I'm just thinking. Friends, once again, time for me to ask you that question if you feel uncertain about your future. The holidays are indeed upon us, and this year, well, it's not like last year. Nope. This year, you're going to pay out the butt for a turkey, which ironically comes to you out of the butt of another turkey. But I digress. You're wondering if there's anything you can do to protect yourself and your family from shortages in the food department and the food aisle at your local grocery store. Why, yes, friends, there is something you can do to protect yourself I was waiting for something. I don't know what the hell I was waiting for.
Okay.
Our friends at My Patriot Supply are specialists in emergency long-term food storage. They're America's #1 preparedness company, and they are well stocked. If they had shelves, they would be packed. We need more music there. Okay, good. Their shelves runneth over. They do. You know, other companies have run out of food, but not My Patriot Supply. No, sirree. They walk the walk, they talk the talk, and you can trust this company just like I do. And I do. So if you go to preparewithmojo50.com, friends, right there is where you will see a plethora of food that will last up to 25 years in storage and still taste as good as the day you put it in that dark closet there. Just don't forget about it. Save $100 right now on the 3-month emergency food kit. That is enough food for you to get through the difficult times ahead. Do not miss out. Preparewithmojo50.com. Get yourself and your family through all of the tough times ahead, because let me just tell you, they are coming. There's a bell in there too. I knew it.
The Daily Mojo.
All right, checking once again on the home front here on the Twitterverse. Let's be frank in PA. If OSHA compels me to wear a hard hat and reflective vest on a job site, I can take it off when I leave. How do you remove a vaccine?
Very good. That's absolutely
You suck
accurate.
it out.
You suck it out.
You just got a friend to go over there and suck it right on out for you. And again, by the way, just in case you were wondering, I had a couple of questions. Kevin Stillwagon is the name of the physician that was speaking the bogusness on in that town hall meeting. So there you have that. Let's see. Is it time to do this? It's a weekly.
can do it.
Can I do it?
Yeah, I think you got time.
I think I do too.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here's the theme song. Oops, hang on, where'd it go? Welcome to this week's edition of Behind the Barn with Donna Fiducia, Don Neuen of Cowboy Logic, heard each and every Tuesday, right, Ron? I get this right every time, right?
Yeah,
Noon?
Tuesday at noon and Tuesday at 11 p.m.
All right. Well, you both look fantastic today. Thanks for joining us once again. And Don, I understand that you are hot on this World War IV. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what he's been calling.
That's right, Brad. Thanks for asking about World War IV. Ron, always a pleasure to be in here. This is radio, so I'm making sure that I speak with my radio puking voice. Ron, how am I doing on the Peter meter over there?
Sounds good, Don. Sounds good.
Good.
I don't think it does at all.
And I'm not wearing
me.
pants. Yes, back to you.
Okay. There you go.
So what's up with World War IV?
All right, so here's what I'm thinking about, guys and gals. You know, World War I, everybody knows what that was. World War II, if you haven't seen that or movies about it, you're like new to the planet.
Kids can't even tell you who was in these wars, let alone when they were or what happened.
Good point, Donna.
I mean, you've got a man on the street interview where somebody says, "Where's Florence, Italy?" and they can't figure that one out.
They go,
I mean, come on.
New York.
All right. So anyhow, World War III.
World War III
Revolution.
was the Reagan versus the USSR.
Exactly.
All right.
World War IV is taking place right now. And there's a big difference, in my opinion, to World War IV and all other world wars. And that is that in previous world wars, they were countries versus countries or regions versus regions.
Yep.
All right.
Now it is the governments of countries versus the citizens of those countries.
Wow.
And this could very well be a final war.
But you've got some leaders of countries that aren't falling for this crap. I always say follow the money trail.
Absolutely.
You've got the president of Belarus saying that he was offered $1 billion by the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, to impose COVID-19 lockdowns. He's coming out and saying that. So now you see why there's a push, in my opinion, to oust him. There's also a push to close many of these countries because I think their leaders, just my opinion, but if you follow the money trail, it makes sense. And if you see what's what the end result is. It makes sense. Austria, Australia, all
Right.
locking down, especially if you're not vaccinated.
Right.
I mean, this is really scary. And they're trying to do it here. The vaccine mandates have never been signed by Joe Biden. And more information's coming out about how ineffective these vaccines are. So once they get it in your arm, you're stuck.
All right.
Literally, no pun intended.
pun intended.
No pun intended.
I see what you did there. Let me ask you this then, going back
me
to
to do that.
what happened in Haiti. Do you think that the
Yeah.
president down there was taken out because he wasn't going to play cards?
It might be the case.
I mean, I
Very
saw-
well
I
might
think
be
most of the
case.
time anybody's taken out because they're not going to play cards.
Look how many billions the Clintons raised to help Haiti, and none of
Right.
that ever got to the Haitian people either.
Right.
It's really money grab by the global elites. The CDC said they had no numbers on natural immunity. Now, all of a sudden, after a Freedom of Information Act, took them about a couple weeks. I was surprised it even took them, that they did it this fast,
Right.
quite honestly. They're saying, well, now about 187 million people might have already had COVID and survived. That's over half the country. Hello.
Isn't that
and,
amazing?
and now you want to give it to 4-month-olds. Moderna wants to give it to 4-month-olds. The kids don't die from this. This is child abuse.
Not only-
and you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to
No,
say,
I'm just saying it.
not only I know it's, you know what? I start talking about this, I get very passionate as well because the whole thing is insane. Number one, and number two, Rochelle Walensky, when asked about the percentage of CDC that were vaccinated, she didn't have the answer. Which she had the answer, but she wouldn't give the answer.
humana.
Well, yeah. What's
Right.
good for
Peppermint
thee, not
Patty
good
is
for me?
back.
Yes.
Yeah, Jen
Well,
Psaki is
hey,
back
listen,
after
I'm not
having.
I'm not so sure that they do have the answers. I know what you're saying, Brad, but here's the thing: they don't want to know the answers. So, what is the easy way for them actually to not know the answers?
I just
they don't collect
know.
the data.
Well,
No,
yes.
they collect the
yes.
data. They know full well. They just aren't releasing it. And now you've got this global
Yeah, well, I don't know
climate
if
deal.
I agree with you.
Well, tough. This global climate deal that just stopped, that just finished. They said after softening the language on coal, they're pretty much saying we got to stop coal, period. And Biden's doing his best to kill any kind of energy that the United States produces.
Right.
But since India and China really are saying, well, the heck with you guys, we're not listening, they softened, quote unquote, their language on India and China. China wasn't even at the summit. 197 nations were there. None of them vetoed the last minute changes to, quote unquote, soften this. So the Glasgow Climate Pact called for, quote, phasing down rather than phasing out coal. But of course, the United States has to phase it all out because, as Jen Psaki said, as she's back from her COVID illness after being fully vaccinated, that, well, since these gasoline prices are up so high and it's the highest we've ever seen them, going up 50% in just the last year or so, well, then we have to double down on the alternatives. I mean, they're just doubling down on stupid.
Well,
and they just
you know who
care.
agrees with you? You know who agrees with you is Greta Thunberg. She, after the climate,
really?
yes, after the climate summit, she came out and she said everything that happened in there was a bunch of crap, which I had to applaud her. I mean, she, the girl, I do actually believe that she deep down in her soul believes the world will end in 9 years. And I think that's the way she was raised. So when she sees all of this politics and all this crap going on, she realizes they're full of crap. They don't mean anything they say. So you got to hand it to her, credit where credit is due.
Didn't Al Gore say the world was going to end like 50 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they all buy houses on the beach. So obviously global warming isn't doing anything.
Isn't that amazing? Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe it did end and we're all in hell.
Yeah,
that would
that's
explain
true.
that would explain the last couple of years.
Explain a lot. That's
Well,
for
all right.
sure.
So with World War IV, what is their end game? What do they when the dust settles, the smoke clears? What do they hope the world looks like? Just a bunch of submissive zombies running around? What?
I actually think that these elitists would like to get the population of the Earth down to about 500 million.
And Bill Gates has said that.
That's the objective.
Right.
And so has George
And the
Soros.
thing is, with a population of 500 million, the Earth could not actually function with businesses and commerce and transportation and things like that. There's not enough people.
It will for them, but not for everybody else.
But that's ultimately what I think it is.
It's
I
really
think
scary.
this is about population control.
I can't
scary.
argue with you on that point because lately I have been coming to the same conclusion as crazy as it sounds. Because at first, when I started hearing all of these theories about Bill Gates and Saint Fauci, Mr. Fauci, he knows everything. I started thinking, that when people were talking about how they wanted to control the population, depopulate the planet, this ID 2020 thing that the Gates has been involved with, I thought that sounds a little too out there and wackadoodle. The more this goes along, the more we see the side effects from the COVID vaccine, the more I'm not so sure that that's all that crazy an idea from them. I mean, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just suggesting that I think you're right. I think that may be what they're going for. Unfortunately, when we say something like that, people look at us like we're nuts.
Yeah, but we don't care what they think about us
A year
anymore.
ago, I think, but now there
here's
might
the thing.
be
You got to understand,
thinking
though,
otherwise.
that we're being hit on multiple fronts, though. You've got the elitists and the governments that are hitting us, the citizens, that is. But you've also got China that's in there. And I think China ultimately wants to take over the actual U.S. soil. Well, they can't do it with the numbers that we have.
Okay.
I think that when this whole Wuhan virus was released, this bioweapon was released, the intent was to reduce the United States population by 200 million people. And they would see China needs the United States, Brad. They need it intact. They need people that will work here.
Our soil.
They need our
That's
soil.
what they need.
They need our cropland.
We're the bread
They
basket
can't
of the
feed
world.
their own people.
Yeah.
I've long held that thought too. That's what they want from us. They want the farmland.
That's it. They can't feed their own people.
And the thing is, look at what they're doing with our military. That really is a huge thing because if, God forbid, this vaccine really does have long-term effects, they're crippling our military at this point. And you can't tell me Biden doesn't know that. Just look at his actions. If I've often said President Xi or Vladimir Putin couldn't do any more harm to this country than what Joe Biden is doing. Everything's wide open. He shuts down the pipeline the second he gets in. He might shut down another pipeline that's working, that's been there for over 70 years. But it's okay for Russia to build a pipeline, and it's okay for China to build coal plants. It's totally upside down. And now, of course, critical race theory. I think it's more important that we have an admiral that's transgender than the fact that China is building ships that they can, faux American
they can launch
warships
weapons in the middle of the desert. That was insane.
Exactly. So they can practice war games.
Wow. I would
sleep tight, everybody.
I was
glad
just going
we
to
could leave
say,
you on up, Brad.
this has been a very uplifting conversation. 10 minutes
sure.
behind the barn with Donna Fiducia, Don Neuen from Cowboy Logic every Tuesday here on Mojo 50 and also on America's Voice Network, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're on Real America's Voice, and you can find us at on Getter, at Cowboy Logic. On Getter. They don't squelch us. They don't shut us up. We can say whatever we want to say.
Yeah, it's awesome. And they actually live stream the show on occasion, too. So when it airs on Real America's Voice. So that's very cool as well.
The Daily Mojo.
It's fun talking to them because, Don, when he doesn't hold back, which would be every word out of his mouth.
Every word out of his mouth, correct.
Both of them, and I swear, I think Donna started in media when she was 10, because she looks fabulous.
She does look fabulous, and Don, Don dresses her for these shows, right?
I did not know that.
He does. He picks out her clothes for the show.
Wow.
So he'll be the first one to tell you. She just doesn't do it. So Don goes into her Fox News closet, which they have a Fox News wardrobe closet,
right?
And he'll pick out something. And
I wonder if he could do the same thing for me. Possibly.
Maybe.
See, over in the Facebook chat room, because I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, and just still the technology is still catching up. Lisa says, is that like Shitwagon? Referring, I think, to Dr. Stillwagon, who, again, we played for you so that you would know not what to listen for, or to listen for it and know it was wrong.
That it was wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, because debunked. Do your own, obviously, research. And Sarah, as always, thank you. She keeps everybody up to date on what's running when. Paul says, Brad Staggs, turn him off. You're pissing me off this wonderful Monday morning, referring to the Joe Biden clips. Sometimes you just have to be reminded of who is in charge of everything, including the nuclear launch codes. You know he doesn't actually have technically the launch codes?
Correct.
I mean,
Technically, he just carries a card with a number on it.
Right. And is that in his pocket next to the number of people who've died?
Correct.
Okay. And I...
Unless they can't find it still from Bill Clinton's days, because he lost it twice.
Well, you know, it's hard to... Sorry. I think my bell is still sticky for some reason. And I didn't remember this story, but way back when, at the beginning of this year, do you remember? Because I don't think the story got much traction. That it says dozens of House Democrats requested Biden hand over the nuclear codes.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Well, when they say the nuclear codes, he carries a key. He carries a key card.
Right.
And the key card has multiple codes on it, supposedly. Now I'm going off of Patterson, Buzz
Right.
Patterson's comments.
Well,
it has multiple lines of codes.
Even
right?
even these Democrats didn't want him to have sole authority over the whole nuclear strike thing.
Correct.
Of course, if it's the vice president and the Speaker of the House,
Well, they didn't want Trump to have it either.
right. So now we have Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi. I feel much more comfortable. You know what?
And the launch never happens with just one decision
Right.
maker. So
Well, we've never really witnessed it, so we don't know how the hell it happens, quite frankly. We do know that if you go to romikadesigns.com, you will find things that you didn't know you couldn't get along without. Did I say that right?
Did you say it right?
I think I did.
You didn't know there were things that you couldn't get along. Yeah,
without.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the Let's Go Brandon Christmas
Yeah,
ornament.
the Let's Go Brandon Christmas ornament.
How's
We
that
also
selling?
have. It's going okay. We've got several ornaments up there now, and I've got a lot more I need to put up. We were pushing real hard last week to get ready for the show this weekend. It was a very successful craft fair. It was more like a. It was at a local church, and it was like the Chamber of Commerce put together. So
Right.
we had a whole lot of people coming by. We've got another one this weekend, so I'll be pushing this week to get to replace the stuff we sold. But
that's good.
We do have we've got several orders in right now. I will be working on those this week. Hopefully, try to get them shipped out. I'm still shipping within a day or two of the order, so those that came in over the weekend will probably be out of here by tomorrow.
So you're almost as fast as Amazon.
Almost as fast. Yeah.
So that's you got something to strive for there. So romikadesigns.com, and that's where you'll find things not only for you, but for those close to you, those far away from you, those that you love, those that you just like. Christmas is right around the corner, and the beauty of Romika Designs is it's not coming from China, right?
That's fact.
Right? It's coming from the good old United States of America. Just like the Daily Mojo for now, until the Chinese company comes up and wants to buy it. More of that next. I mean, I think if a Chinese company wanted to buy,
Yeah.
would we sell it
Yeah.
for $1 million? Yes.
I don't know. It's a good question.
5 million? 10?
I don't know.
$12 million. Let me answer for you. Yes. Could we do that? Because then we could start Mojo 7.0. Right?
Wojo 7.0.
Right. See, they'd probably slap us with a non-compete, though.
Probably.
God. How long until Biden reads out the codes, confusing it with his COVID death card? Right? Oh, that's a good point. Night's saying, nee, doesn't matter if he's got the codes or not. John Travolta can just reprogram them at any time in the desert. I forgot about that documentary. You're right.
What was that?
Not
Swordfish?
Face Off. Was it Swordfish? It wasn't Face Off, was it?
I don't think so.
You sure?
You sure?
Are you sure?
Sex addiction as a disease from next year.
Hold on a second. There's one quote in here.
Experience.
I didn't really feel anything anymore. And it was just giving me the instant hit. And then 5 minutes later, I wanted it again. Well, I was brought up in Tadcaster and I lived just...
Admitting to herself that she was addicted to sex wasn't easy for Rebecca. The 37-year-old mum of 3 was never unfaithful, but her sudden and uncontrollable need for sex ultimately destroyed her relationship.
It was literally the first thing I thought about when I woke up, and I couldn't get it off my mind.
Mum of 3 was never unfaithful, that she was addicted to sex.
Well, I was brought up in Tadcaster and I lived just...
Admitting to herself that she was...
5 minutes later, I wanted it again. Well, I was brought up in Tadcaster.
Wow. You know that's a real thing, right?
Yep. I mean, we've had this talk before, Ron, and
yes, we have.
I'm not outing you right now.
Well, don't.
But there's maybe an intervention. I mean, it may be. Where is that chick?
Austin, Texas high school removes bathroom doors due to safety concerns. What?
Doesn't seem quite right, does it? Where is...
And until tomorrow, protect your liberties. Once they're gone, there's no getting them back. If we weren't so bad.
To puppy rape.
I like to cuss.
Do I want to keep my penis?
Cat wants some black titties. We wouldn't be so good. Mojo 50. The mothership has landed.
Indeed, the seems to be a little bit of trouble in the White House. It doesn't seem as though the president and the vice president are getting along with each other. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
They didn't get along with each other on the stage either.
They certainly didn't, especially at that debate. Yeah, apparently the 3 dozen former and current Harris aides, Democratic operatives, donors, outside advisors, spoke exclusively and extensively to CNN, reveal a complex reality inside the White House. Many in the vice president's circle fume that she's not being adequately prepared or positioned and is instead being sidelined. Wait a second. I thought she was the border czar. I thought she was in charge of all things border.
Well, that's what we all were told, but she's never done anything with it.
Wow. Are you calling her lazy? How could you? I mean, seriously.
Not sure I used those words, but
lazy. This was the report from CN and CNN. I believe it is going to start any second.
Tension and frustration behind the scenes between Vice President Kamala Harris and the White House. The accounts come from nearly 3 dozen current and former Harris aides, administration officials, Democratic operatives, donors, and outside advisors who spoke to CNN about the complex reality inside the White House. On one side, members of Harris's inner circle who believe she's being sidelined and set up to fail instead of being positioned to be a future president. One former high-level Harris aide put it this way, we put this up on screen, they're consistently sending her out there on losing issues in the wrong situations for her skill set.
All right. What would her skill set be exactly? They had to have chosen her for a reason, right? I mean, other than vagina.
Or good head. Oh, sorry.
Or skin tone. Or as Ron said, something about having a large head.
Didn't say that.
Well-shaped head. She's a good old big head. And, I mean, she has a certain set of skills like Liam Neeson. We're just not sure exactly what those skills are.
Mm-hmm.
So is she being set up to fail, or is it just, you know, it can't be because the president's office is jealous of her, because I think she has an even lower approval rating than the president does, and he's down at, what, 41%? I think he's all the way down.
Is he? Yeah. Is he above the 30s?
Let's see. His approval rating has plunged to a fresh low, driven by, they say, discontent between his own base. Among his own base, 41% of Americans approve of the commander-in-chief's performance. That is down 11 points since spring. Wow. 80% of Democrats are positive about their party's leader compared to 94% in June, according to the poll. And barely 4 in 10 Democrats strongly approve of Biden today, down from about 7 in 10 who did so in June. Now, strangely, do you know who has come to her defense? Jen Psaki. I wonder why. Jen Psaki last night tweeted, "For anyone who needs to hear it, the VP is not only a vital partner to POTUS, but also a bold leader who has taken on key important challenges facing the country." Like what? Asking for a friend. From voting rights, to addressing root causes of migration, to expanding broadband. To expanding broadband. You know, when you think back in history of great American patriots who have put it all on the line, you know, for their country.
That's right.
Expanding broadband is right there at the top of the list of everything that they fought for. Did you, well, you probably already had listened to it. I was listening this morning to Damn It with Beaver, which I think originally aired yesterday.
Yeah, she did a little Veterans Day thing.
She did a fabulous job.
It was a good show, yeah.
Really, what?
All of them were.
You don't sound really. I was just talking about Damn It with Beaver right there.
Yeah.
And what's your problem?
Oh my God.
She did a good show, you say? I think it was better than good. I was very impressed.
Oh.
Were you not?
I was impressed with all of them. Yes.
But not. I mean, I'm asking her specifically.
Yes,
Senator.
her show was fantastic. Are you back?
See how much easier that was? If you just don't dodge the question,
God.
Senator, you'll be a whole lot better off. And I bring to mind the show Damn It with Beaver because she sent me this suggestion for a song that possibly could be, I think, our theme song.
Okay.
All the way around. I don't even know who it is. Don't care. But I think you'll like it.
I will not comply. Quit trying to take me to task, cause I don't want to wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die. They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply.
Again, this could be fake news.
Since back last March, I've had an achy, breaky heart like old Billy Ray Cyrus. Been catching a case of the blues from the news around this damn coronavirus. Now they're telling us we gotta keep our chin divers up, even if we got the shot in the arm. But nobody's talking about exercise or eating food that's fresh grown from the farm. That's why I will not comply. Good song. Quit trying to take me to task, cause I don't want to wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die.
Well, there's
They
that.
got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply. Show 'em what non-compliance sounds like, boys.
This song is kicking. By the way, it comes with a warning.
Now listen, y'all. The only way to stop the violence is for us to break the silence right now. So if you tend to agree and you're pissed off like me, stand your ass up and scream it out loud. Sing, I will not comply.
Is this guy blind?
Quit trying to take me to task, 'cause I don't want to wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die.
Serious.
They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply.
Well, his name is Blind Joe.
Oh, there you go.
I will not comply. No, that's the gospel truth.
Blind Joe?
Blind Joe.
I'm guessing he is blind. I was only asking because he's wearing the dark glasses and kind of giving that 40-yard stare. I will not comply. Again, comes with a warning on Facebook, which I find entertaining. Visit the COVID-19 Information Center for Vaccine Resources. How do they know that's what it's about? I mean, other than it says, stuff about vaccine in it. But why? Okay, again, it was the quote from, not a founding father, but I found this not too long ago. Being a rebel is a good thing under tyranny.
That makes sense. Absolutely makes sense.
And I think you'd be hard-pressed to not at least partially agree that we are being held down by this administration. I mean, obviously we have to be careful what we say because, they'll come after us. We just don't see. The thing is, we just don't have a big enough footprint yet. They're not threatened by us. It'll happen eventually.
I find it funny that both sides of our fence here, let's see, Republicans and liberals,
all right,
can understand a completely different definition of tyranny than the other.
Yes, I think I understand what you're saying. But we both see. Well, are you referring to the Trump tyranny?
Yeah,
that wasn't. I still
that
don't
wasn't
understand
tyranny.
What exactly. What about Trump was tyranny or tyrannical?
But they would say Biden is not tyrannical right now, but we do, right? I don't understand. Is it because? I mean, I don't recall Trump doing anything that went against our constitutional rights.
No, I don't either.
Could I be mistaken? Probably, but I don't recall anything. And I don't think it's not just because I didn't want to see it. I'm just saying this mandate being pushed like it is, this vaccine,
right,
goes against the constitutional rights of a free citizen of this country, period.
Certainly seemed like it, which again, I don't understand what Trump did that was tyrannical.
Like I said, people were using the analogies of the seat belts and hard hats and all this. Doesn't make sense at all.
Because you can, who was it?
I can take off a seat belt.
Thank you.
I can decide not to wear a seat belt and get a ticket. But you
Right.
forcing me to put something in my body that does not necessarily belong there because you think it's okay for me, that's just a kiss my ass thing right there.
Certainly seems like it. The link that I tweeted out earlier, the covidblog.com, is terrifying to say the least. It is full of stories of people who have, I guess, not either not made it or have had devastating effects after the jab. And let's see here. This is in Gilroy. This is on November 11th, last week. 56-year-old engineer and business owner is dead but refused to die in vain as he used his there's a lot of links on this page. He refused to die in vain as he used his obituary to warn others about the evil surrounding the vaccine agenda. Dr. Michael Granata received his first Moderna mRNA injection August 17th. He did not want to get the shot for fear that I might die, but his doctor continually insisted that the mRNA injections were in his best interest. So he gave in to the pressure, almost instantly regretted it. He started feeling sick just 3 days later. General malaise morphed into multi-system inflammatory syndrome. That's MIS.A, or excuse me, -A, and multi-system organ failure. Mainstream media, the pharmaceutical industry say that MIS-A only results from COVID-19. They also push the fallacious idea, that would be fallacious, not fallacious, that Black and Latino kids get MIS-C. This whole, and this is, there are dozens of stories like this guy. But if you repeat them, and I mean, I think everybody agrees that some people have died after getting the vaccine.
Correct.
I don't know if it was caused by the vaccine or not, and I'm not anti-vax. I'm anti-mandate. If you want to get the vaccine, go for it. Not my business. But this not my business. And this the COVIDblog.com has dozens of stories just like this one. Richard Rowe, 41, this is on November 4th, 41-year-old former Florida congressional candidate tells anti-vaxxers, I don't give a shit what's happened to you. He was dead 7 weeks after his second Pfizer mRNA injection. Could be a coincidence. Could absolutely be a coincidence. Here's another. Casey Hodgkinson, a 23-year-old New Zealand woman suffering uncontrollable convulsions, loses the ability to walk and talk days after her first Pfizer mRNA injection. So take a look at it. You decide for yourself what's real and what's not. But I think it's equally important to see the stories, even when the president comes out and says, hey, the thing is safe, effective, and free. All right, how about the other side of that coin, just for shits and giggles? Can we talk about the people who have not experienced the safe part of it? Isn't that fair? It's still America as far as, well, sort of still America. Which, I meant it when we don't have a big enough footprint. So don't be selfish and don't say, well, I hope you never have a big enough footprint because that way you'll be able to continue telling us the truth. No, you see, we want to get bigger. And by that, we mean we hope that you will tell a friend or two, or even an enemy, maybe, that you'll listen to the Daily Mojo, share it, and rate it, too, if you don't mind. Anything above a star is good for us. We're not greedy. I mean, not like Jeffy. Jeffy wants 5. We'll just take 1. But if you wouldn't mind telling a few people about it, that would be fabuloso. There was a story about a girl from New Zealand. She was an equestrian, Australian equestrian star. She was hospitalized with blood clots. And wait until you hear, and I'm hoping I can, it reloaded itself. It did something funky, and I'm wondering if they didn't delete her Instagram post. I'm hoping that they didn't delete it. We'll see here in just a second. But first, remember MyPillow.com. At MyPillow.com, you can find all sorts of swell things for you. Like, again, for, little people, you can get the king-size MyPillow and use it as a body pillow.
Yep.
Ron does it. He uses it to keep his knees from knocking in the middle of the night. Old knock-kneed
Keeps
Ron.
my thighs separated.
Guy, really, because otherwise they get really sweaty. Nasty sweaty. And just all kinds of. But go to mypillow.com. You know the rest of the story. Use promo code Mojo50 and get the special pricing on everything from the slippers to the towel set, which is fabulous, to the sheets, to the pillows,
robes.
to the robes. And I promise you will not be disappointed. But it's all mypillow.com, and the promo code is Mojo50. All right, let's see here if the because it's like, let's see, it's like they deleted her video. Because it was all queued up and ready. And her name is Sienna Knowles. She says, I don't even know where to begin. On Thursday, the 21st at 10 a.m., this would be back in October, I had my second shot. That night, I woke up sick, vomiting fever, wet in sweat, heart palpitations, headache, sore muscles and joints like hell, blurry vision. I was in so much pain at this point, crying. I knew something was seriously wrong. I'm the first person to dust it off and never cry. The next morning, I went to the doctors, who then sent me to the emergency hospital. I've been in the respiratory ward with clots all through my legs, stomach, and through both lungs. The amount of clots on my lungs is equivalent to having broken ribs, so a little painful and hard to breathe. As part of my treatment for my recovery, I'm now medicated and never have been in my life as a result of these. I have internal bleeding and nosebleeds as one of the side effects of my medications, along with a line of other things I choose to keep private. I had no medical issues, underlying conditions, not medicated for anything, completely healthy, never been sick. Crazy to think of the left pick. Crazy to think to the left pick I was turfing with my family. Must be an Australian thing. With my family riding horses, and the next pick, she's regarding a picture, but it's spelled differently. The next pick is me just after my vaccination. I now have numerous doctors and specialists for a minimum of 6 to 12 months. This is my new normal. I also have been informed to not ride my horses, my motorbikes, and train everything I am. Drive my car, go to work. I never wanted this jab and held off for as long as I could. I got it to keep my job. If you know me personally, you know how hesitant and scared I was of getting it. Thank you, everyone, for the love and support. Again, her name is Sienna Knowles, and she's on the Instagram. And I think it's fair to point these things out. You know, if you mention these things, you get essentially canceled by the Gladys Kravitz's on the left. And they don't want any of this truth coming out, and it's beyond disgusting. According to the Epic Times, there's a hospital system in Oklahoma that has actually operating in 19 states. So this is actually more good news. They have Oklahoma was granted a temporary restraining order that blocks Ascension Healthcare from terminating employees who were denied religious exemptions from the firm's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. And remember that even though the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has kept in place the stay against the mandate, remember the White House came out last week and said, just ignore it. Businesses just ignore it and keep doing what you're doing and requiring employees to get the vaccine. It's like unconscionable. Again, you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. I have no problem with that. It's just the tyranny that is slowly creeping in. And I say slowly, it's not really all that slow anymore. It's coming at pretty much a full gush at this point. The Oklahoma Attorney General John O'Connor filed for a restraining order against the company's requirement on the night of November 12th. A Tulsa district judge granted the request. This evening, Tulsa District Court granted the state's application for a temporary restraining order in our case to keep Ascension Healthcare from carrying out its plan to fire employees who were unfairly denied religious exemptions from their nationwide COVID-19 vaccine mandate. This is a win for religious freedom, and our office will continue to fight against unlawful religious discrimination. This is also what Ken Paxton has done. The Texas Attorney General has filed suit against the Biden administration, trying to hold back and again, the federal government does not seem to care, nor do a lot of state governments or local governments. They don't seem to care whether or not people are being forced to do anything. That's the amazing part.
Right.
Well, it's all about public health. No, it really isn't. Given the numbers and given the fact, I mean, if you just look around, you'll see the fact that these, like OSHA, is not requiring employers to report injuries of employees who have been injured by the vaccine. They decided, no, you don't have to worry about that, and they've removed that requirement until next May. Well, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Also, I have it on good authority. Alex, I see you shaking something on the corner of my eye.
No,
I don't want to know
scratching
what you're
my
doing.
ear.
I don't
Oh,
want
scratching my
Look,
ear.
I don't
dude.
care.
Seriously.
No judgment. Well, whatever. So, had it on some interesting authority that places where you can get the COVID test. I don't know if this is the same in every state, but they currently are charging. If you are going in to get a COVID test, they charge you, and those costs in a lot of cases are being picked up by the employer. Now, some employers are going to stop paying for those weekly COVID tests. And interestingly enough, one of these facilities, I've been told, who is, again, they're being paid by the employer of the person who comes in to get the test. Well, even if that employer stops paying for the test, this testing facility said, look, it's a little known secret that the government will actually continue to pick up the tab if your employers stop.
No kidding.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
They want the numbers. They want the numbers. Funny, they've never done that before, but now, yeah, they want the numbers.
I think the one you're talking about, is this the one that also allows the rapid test?
No, they
No.
don't.
Oh.
No, they don't allow I don't think.
Maybe not.
That
Maybe
PCR
not.
test, you mean?
Yeah, no,
And
the
see,
rapid test.
that's the other thing. It gets it's like, how many freaking
Correct,
tests
yeah.
are there now? And
Yeah.
which ones are good and which ones aren't?
Yeah.
They've muddied up the water, just like they've muddied up the water when it comes to dying with or of. Everything about this whole situation is murky at best.
Yeah.
And even when you're trying to stay on top of it, it's tough to do. Even if you're looking for it. So imagine the average, truly uninformed person out there who watches the headlines occasionally and hears most of their news from, a buddy or whatever. Imagine how effed up their knowledge is, because it's murky, as I said, at best. And a lot of these people are just hearing what they want to hear. So when you really dig down deep into the minutia here, it's pretty frightening what they're doing. But hey, this is Joe Biden's America. Enjoying the hell out of it. How about you? Isn't it fun to pay more for stuff and be told what to do? Hey. But you'll hear Chris Wallace sucking up to the government here in just a second as he's talking to A.G. Paxton. Next on your Daily Mojo.
Clear.
It's unbelievable what these a-holes are doing. Did we ever figure out who this was singing?
No, I mean, I went out and I've tried to find this version, and I can't find it.
Have you Shazammed it?
Popping in my ear.
What?
I said something's popping in my ear.
Is it my finger?
No, it was electronic, but I don't know what it was. Weird. No, I haven't Shazammed it.
Because I bet Shazam would do it.
Probably, because there's a specific version, but I don't think it's who normally sings that song.
I don't either, because I've looked.
Yeah. Doc put that together, and he did a good job with it.
Yeah, and then he went off and didn't tell us.
I'm not showing any incoming calls today, correct?
Only the president.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep the phones off.
Right. Yeah, please. We don't need to speak to him.
Oh, there might be something in my headset.
Could be.
American Pride Roasters coffee. Historically great coffee.
American Pride
The Daily Mojo.
See oblivion flickering on the Twitters. How is it Dr. Fauci, director of puppy torture etiquette, didn't insist that these vaccines at least be tested on animals? There's going to be some interesting information coming out on Dr. Fauci in the next couple of days. If you check Amazon, there's a book that will be coming out called, I believe, The Real Dr. Fauci, or The Real Anthony Fauci. I think that's what it's called. Double check that. Real Anthony Fauci. You know, the one and only.
You do not know what you are talking about.
Yeah, that one. So that comes out, yes, tomorrow. It's called The Real Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health Care. And it is authored by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And you can actually buy a kind of a review encapsulation, kind of the cliff notes of it, I think already on Amazon. When you see what's in this book, all I'm going to say is, holy shit.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on Donna's show yesterday.
I mean, now here's the problem. Fauci has got more Teflon on him than Bill Clinton.
He does.
He is able to dodge, shuck, and jive more bullets than I think anybody. But half this stuff ends up being true. Half of it. He's Dr. Mengele.
Mengele. That's exactly what I was about to say. Maybe it was you that brought it up during the interview yesterday.
Was it?
It was.
Maybe.
I think so. But yeah, Joseph Mengele is who you, I think, referred to at the time.
It's
scary. This guy's got a long history of this too, and he's still up there doing his
Well,
thing.
that would never happen. You could, yes, it has happened.
It has happened.
I mean, that's the amazing thing is people who don't learn from history are bound to repeat it. And they are doing their damnedest on the left to destroy history and distort it so that we don't remember exactly what happened, and we're going to end up paying for it. But this is a bit of the interview with Ken Paxton and Chris Wallace yesterday.
Getting in the way of saving lives, getting in the way of us making sure that the economy is working as well, and getting out of this pandemic. And so that's the question for them.
How do you answer that question, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm not in the legislature, so I can't quite answer for our legislature, but I think that they want people to have choices over their own decisions as to their health care with their doctor's advice. And so people have different opinions about what that should be for them, and it shouldn't be made by the federal government from Joe Biden's desk.
Right. And wasn't this what the White House has been saying all this time? Check with your physician, check with your pastor, to your local leaders. Aren't you supposed? Isn't that what they said? I'm pretty sure I remember them saying that. And then suddenly when your physician or your pastor or whatever didn't agree with what the White House said, then they're like, oh, no, don't listen to them. Listen to us. I mean, they hate it when you find somebody who talks common sense and actually has a background in this stuff. They hate it. They can't stand it. And they're going to fight every bit of it along the way. This is going to be another. It's going to be tough to fight this fight because it is, as Don Neuen said in our 10 Minutes Behind the Barn, this World War IV is truly, it's upon us. It's government against the people. It's governments everywhere against the people. Was it Austria right now with the curfew, the lockdown? If you're over 12 and unvaccinated, you can't basically go anywhere except to work.
Correct.
It's like restriction.
Was that Austria?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't going to just stay there listen to the words of this president. It ain't going to just stay there in Austria. The CDC, interestingly enough, and this is important, the wording, the CDC says it has no record of people who are naturally immune transmitting the virus that causes COVID-19.
None.
Isn't that weird? They have no record of anybody who's been naturally immune transmitting the virus. And yet they have records of people who have been fully vaccinated transmitting the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. In the fall, the CDC received a request from an attorney on behalf of the Informed Consent Action Network for documents reflecting any documented case of an individual who, 1, never received a COVID-19 vaccine, 2, was infected with COVID-19 once, recovered, and then later became infected again, and 3, transmitted SARS-CoV-2 to another person when reinfected. Huh. Strange. All we want is the truth. What is so wrong with that? What is so wrong with looking for and finding the truth about these things? They don't want us to have the truth for whatever reason. That's the part about this that I don't understand, those who are just so blindly following this government. I just don't get it. I mean, do they not see that we're being lied to? But then again, they thought Trump was lying to us. Hence the 10,000 lies. I can, and didn't you say there was a website up that gave us kept a record of all the lies that Trump had told?
It used to be TrumpLies.com, but I don't think that's what it is anymore.
I'll give you this. He did say before he was elected that he was going to build the wall and have Mexico pay for it, which he didn't and they didn't. So, All right, I'll give you that one. But what other lies that have a direct effect on all of us did he tell? But maybe I'm being naive. The CDC and in the response dated November 5th made public, said it doesn't have any documents pertaining to the request. The CDC confirmed to the Epoch Times that its Emergency Operations Center didn't find any records responsive to the request. The agency declined to say whether any documentation had been found between November 5th and November 12th, directing the Epoch Times to file a Freedom of Information Act request for that info. So let's say they did get information between the 5th and the 12th. Again, unless it is just monumental and all of a sudden there was an influx of thousands or millions of this happening, I doubt that. I doubt there's any information there either. Epoch Times since filed the Freedom of Information request. Did you know there are 2 agencies that are immune, or the Freedom of Information Act does not apply to them? NORAD, the White House. Isn't that something?
I didn't know the White House was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Apparently so.
NORAD makes sense. But then again.
Well, and NORAD is where all of the cases on UFOs are sent.
Yeah.
Huh. Coincidence? I think not. Which reminds me, have you watched a UFO on Showtime?
What's it called?
I think it's just called UFO.
No, I haven't. No, I've been kind of stuck on the Viking series right now. But
are they naked?
There is no nakedness in it.
It's not worth
It's from History Channel.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a J.J. Abrams production, and there was it's so far it's the most interesting documentary I've seen on UFOs. Strangely enough, and I've seen a lot of them, but this one
Showtime. You said,
and it's and by the way, just in case you don't have HBO, if you have Roku, or Hulu, you can get you can get Showtime. You can get Showtime for $3.99 a month for 4 months, and then just cancel.
And then just cancel.
Strangely enough, 4 months is long enough to watch the entire Dexter new series.
Yep.
Was the other one I said Red Notice on Netflix?
Red Notice on Netflix, the largest opening day for a Netflix movie ever.
I have not laughed.
Is it funny? Look, when you put Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne Johnson together in a movie,
I may have a new man crush. And it's Ryan Reynolds.
Right?
He is just funny.
I saw an interview with him, and I guess it was on Today, or it was Hoda Kotb and somebody else, where they said, Ryan, he was there, and they said, Ryan, do you know that you are the #1 man crush amongst heterosexual men out there? And he went, yes, I did. He's like, I got to get the gay men to step up.
Right.
Because
well, I'm sure gay men love him too.
He's like the everyman dude. He really is.
And he has the comic timing of.
Yep, he does. He
who
has
was it? I compared him to-
fantastic comic timing.
Oh man, I was trying to remember because I thought, man, he's got.
I just watched
perfect.
that. I just watched what's it called? Fun Guy, the last movie he did, where he was in the game.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
Fun Guy. You need to watch it.
Fun Guy. Okay.
Yeah, because it's hilarious.
His comic timing is just impeccable. But if it's Red Notice, it's on Netflix, and it is hysterical. And Gal Gadot is in it too.
Yep.
Yeah, she looks pretty good. She's tall, isn't she?
She is tall.
She's tall. Hey, not that I noticed. But and while you're out there, getting your fix of Showtime, don't forget to go to mojo50.com, click on shop, and then find the little Christmas ornament right here. It's the Mojo 50 2021 Christmas ornament that you cannot buy. No. This is a gift from us to you for any donation of $25 or more. And if you go to mojo50.com, you will find right there on the front page the link to make said.
And by the way, let me just stress this, Brad, because the donation is $25 or more. So
What did I just say?
You said it correctly.
Okay.
But there are a lot of 10s, 5s, 15s, and 20s coming in. And when I do my search for those that are $25,
right,
I limit it at $25. So just FYI. For those, I'm hoping that those that are doing the $20 one-time donations,
it's 25.
It's 25.
25, you cheap bastard! Climb off the extra $5.
It's not that they're. It's just
you
we
did.
got to cover costs, dude. That's all.
You said that they were cheap bastards.
I
if they
never
didn't-
said that.
I mean, you said it off the air, and I wasn't supposed to say anything.
That is
about
not
it, but-
true. I did
All right,
not say
I'm
it
sorry.
on-
We'll just edit this part out. No one will
Oh,
ever hear us
my
talking about
God.
it. And we're back in live 3-2. All right. So anyway, $25 or more, and you'll get that as a free gift to us, from us to you. Sorry, I was just looking here at James in Louisiana, and I swear to you, you're exactly right. Gene Wilder. He has the comedic timing of Gene Wilder.
Yes.
And
Yep, I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know if he studied Gene Wilder or what, but he nails it every time. So I was not expecting to like Red Notice. I really didn't.
There is a story going around that they shot that is an expensive movie because they kept having to reshoot scenes because everybody would break during the scene, and he said Gal Gadot says, I have this twitch when I get ready to break,
right?
And Ryan Reynolds would exploit that and push me over the edge. She said that's why it's an expensive movie.
It's really funny. If you need a good laugh, Red Notice, and it's a good buddy comedy too. All right, so for those of you who had, I'm choosing my words carefully here because it's the whole luciferase thing, and we talked about that. No, it's not in the vaccine, et cetera, blah blah blah. And you can look up luciferase. It's the stuff that it's bioluminescent, kind of like fireflies. So the example that I had seen, a year ago, was the little patch with all the microneedles on it. And that the vaccine at that point had this chemical compound in it that when applied to the skin, all these little microneedles would break the skin, obviously, deliver the vaccine, but also would deliver this luciferase compound so that, with the right app or the right blue light or whatever the hell it is, you could go over that area on a person's skin and say, oh, okay, I can see the bioluminescent patch place where you got the vaccine. We hadn't heard anything about this whole patch thing until today. A UK company has gotten the go-ahead to trial skin patch COVID vaccine. The British company will soon begin phase 1 trials for the new novel COVID-19 vaccine, which is applied as a skin patch. An Oxfordshire-based company says their vaccine is an easy-to-administer microneedle skin patch that uses T cells to kill infected cells. They also say it could offer longer-lasting immunity than the current COVID vaccines. Which, by the way, do the vaccines offer immunity? Haven't we changed? Haven't we seen the definition of that changed? I thought it now was they just offer protection.
Yeah,
not
I
immunity.
think it offers immunity.
You say you don't think it does, or it does?
I don't think it does.
I don't either.
Yeah, or you wouldn't have breakthrough cases.
Right. So, speaking to The Guardian in an article published today, Emergex Chief Commercial Officer Robin Cohen hailed the awarding of regulatory approval by Swiss authorities for allowing his Oxfordshire-based firm to push forward with the clinical trials. Cohen stated that it was the first time a regulator had approved a COVID-19 vaccine for clinical trials in which the vaccine's sole purpose was to generate a targeted T-cell response rather than an antibody response. While the antibody response engendered by overcoming infection or the administration of one of the current cohorts of... Sorry, what?
What?
Let's just say the important part of this, I think, is the whole thing with the patch. I think it's fascinating because, again, this luciferase, again, despite the fact that its name is a little disconcerting, that is an interesting, I mean, again, if this was the world before COVID, I would say, that's kind of neat. You go and you get your MMR and whatever vaccine that, we've all had, your polio, whatever it is. And now, so you don't have to worry about keeping the record, is just, hey, look, right there. It's I told you I got it. See, that was back when we trusted the government.
Yeah. Yeah, because I still have that on my arm.
You've got the round thingy, like the crater?
Yeah.
I don't have that.
What was that That was that a vaccine or several?
I think it was several. But wasn't it polio?
No, polio is the
sugar cube.
Oral. Yeah.
We know how you like oral. You're welcome. Maybe it was the MMR. Whatever it was. A lot of people have that little divot, but I don't, and I don't know why. Because I have the record that says I got it.
Do you have one on? Some people have it on their shoulder, on the back.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time examining my shoulders, but I'll have to. I don't think I have. Maybe
That's a
some
smallpox vaccine scar.
Okay, so I was right. Oh no,
Yeah.
I said polio.
Smallpox scar is small, round, and lower than the skin around it.
Yeah, it's like a divot.
It says, but unless you were born before 72, you probably don't have one.
Well, I was born before 72.
So was I, but I still have it.
You have it.
I do have it.
Okay, I'm saying I don't have it. They said, but if you were born before 74, you should have it.
No,
before
you
72.
probably don't have it. It says unless you were born before 1972. Oh, you probably don't have one.
Right. That means after.
My
72.
brother's. I think my brother's is on his back, behind his shoulder.
Huh. Well, I don't.
Not sure why they changed the placement of it, but it's smallpox.
Hey, this just popped up. Thank you, Leprechaun. Beto O'Rourke announcing his run for governor of Texas. Oh Lord. Don't want to end the show on that note, do we? See, Brick Rockwell, what I learned today is that sometimes politics doesn't get in the way of fun. Ryan Reynolds is a commie rat. Son of a... Honestly, don't do man crushes. What are you, gay? What's wrong with you? But Reynolds is too funny to care. He and Wilder are actually pretty different in style, but they're equally funny. I don't think they're different in style. Wow.
Look, that's the thing, though. Ryan Reynolds can be liberal all you want him to be, as long as he shuts up about it when he's acting.
Right. An unvaxxed rabbit hole, Jill Hole, says if you go to the Moderna website and look up the ingredients, it is in there. All right, well, there you go. I mean, I think you understand what I say when I say it. When I say, look, it's called plausible deniability. Just between you and me. I mean, just trying to cover all of our bases. What?
Did you hear? Did you see the Wisconsin Jackhole tweet just now? He retweeted Seal Right Inc.
Wisconsin National Guard calls Kyle Rittenhouse to assist with possible riots, filing Kyle Rittenhouse verdict.
What
It's
the
not
hell?
funny. Although the trial has been a bit of a joke. The Rittenhouse thing, if they don't, I mean, maybe the jury heard things that we didn't, but I don't think so, because haven't we been able to see the whole thing?
For the most part, it's been live.
Yeah,
every day. Yeah.
I mean,
and I haven't watched the whole thing, but
we've even been able to see what's happening when the jury isn't in the room.
Correct.
So it's not like, okay, well, we didn't get to see what the jury saw. We've seen everything the jury saw and then some. And it still looks to me like that was self-defense. I mean, it's hell, even the dude, bicepless boy, even pretty much, strangely, in the trial, in his testimony, I don't know if you saw this or not, he admitted to the, under cross-examination, that Rittenhouse didn't shoot him until he raised his gun and pointed it at Rittenhouse.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He went on, I think, CNN and completely contradicted himself. Said, no, that didn't happen. But you said under oath that it did. So.
Well, we're about to find out how this is all going to play out. Because, you can have 12 men and women on a jury.
Right.
But when it comes right down to it, it takes one, does it not?
Takes one to what?
To turn that
capital murder into not guilty. Yeah, because I think it has to be a unanimous
I don't
decision.
specifically know the Wisconsin laws, but it only takes one to be bought off, to be persuaded, to etc.
I think that Donny Osmond said it best. One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch, baby. And we can also blame pig deaths on Joe Biden and government in general. The USDA has decided to increase pig slaughtering at processors to tame meatflation. The combination of food, shelter, and energy inflation has crushed real wages. Americans become increasingly discontent with the White House for their failure to tame the inflation monster. Biden administration, of course, is, it's transitory. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. It's all good. But, of course, we all know that it's not all good. Stephanie Ruhle was, she's an MSNBC or NBC
as you
commentator.
Say, inflation's over 6%, numbers we haven't seen in more than 30 years. So how much higher can these prices go, and when do you see them coming down?
Well, listen, Willie, nobody knows exactly when they're going down, but you have to put all this in perspective. This inflation is not in isolation, and the government predicted it was going to be a challenging recovery, all tied to COVID. So it's why you see things like that expanded child tax credit. You've got the families of over 60 million kids on average getting $430 a month. For people on fixed incomes, older people on Social Security, they're getting those fixed payments adjusted next year up 5.9% for inflation. And the dirty little secret here, Willie, while nobody likes to pay more, on average, we have the money to do so.
This is our idiot of the day, Stephanie Ruhle at NBC. You know what? Nobody likes to pay more, but you've got the money sitting in your account to pay more. What the hell world do these people live in?
She completely missed the point.
Yes, of course she did. She's shilling, and again, it was NBC, or the other company under the NBC umbrella that put out inflation is a good thing. You have to look at it that like, are these people insane? And there are days I think that they are. But you're supposed to just climb off the extra money. The whole idea being that you saved up enough money during the pandemic, during the year off, that you've got the money to pay the higher prices that are now showing up at the store. Remember, it was, let me see if I get this right. Oh, yeah, the government who got us into this mess.
Yep.
From the get-go. from the whole, oh, yeah, it was the government in the form of Anthony Fauci who started this whole gain of function crap over at Wuhan, which, whether it was released naturally or unnaturally, got the ball rolling. So we can lay it at his feet, and he is our highest paid employee. And now we expect the government to get us out of it? No, I don't think so. That's the problem. Things are starting to heat up, and unfortunately, I think we're all going to have to play a part in turning down the heat, and it ain't going to be pretty.
What do you mean it's last call?
That is it. Speaking of not pretty, that is 2 hours of your Daily Mojo. You'll never get them back, and we'll never look as good either. For today is Monday, November 15th, the year of our Lord, 2021. Yippee-ki-yay. You know the rest. See if any of the lessons, in fact, stuck here. Nights Who Say Knee, the title for today's episode, Monday's Depression Session. I think you might win that one. Infringed, and I forgot to mention the naming the episode contest each and every day, 5 words or less, and, try not to use the F-bomb in there. But we'll
Please.
see. Yeah, exactly. Just won't be able to use it. Leprechaun said, so COVID is the cause of inflation. What an airhead. Wait a minute, did he call me an airhead? Is he calling me an airhead?
Infringed Swish says that vanilla flavoring comes from the butts of beavers.
And that's a problem?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a little...
I need to ask Angry Beaver that.
Who doesn't like a little beaver butt?
Yep.
I mean, on occasion, everything, of course, in moderation, especially beaver butt.
Yep.
And bicepless boy today who tweeted this, let's go, Brandon. Prosecutor, could you point to Kyle Rittenhouse for us? Gage, not anymore. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I do not have the least bit of sympathy for that jackass.
Yep.
Dang it, Chris. Ryan Reynolds is a liberal buffoon, but at least he's funny and not in charge of anything. You know what it is? It's they live in their bubble. They live in their bubble. Robin P. Brad may not have a vaccination divot, but does he have a belly button? I do. Ron, is yours an innie or an outie?
I have an innie because I have a fat belly, therefore it is an innie.
No, I think I've seen fat people with outies.
Well, yeah.
I mean, when was the last time you saw a pregnant woman?
They're not fat, Brad.
No, not fat, but they have a big
Don't
belly, but
confuse
they
a
still have an
pregnant woman
outie.
with fat. That's right. That's because their uterus is pushing against it. Therefore, it's an outie.
Thanks for that lesson.
My uterus does not push against mine. Therefore.
Stop it. Metalysis, Mississippi. Why do I get Beto and Buttigieg confused? It's an easy yes.
It's easy.
It's
yeah.
very easy. Actually, Buttigieg does not yell as much as Beto.
Correct.
There's that's one way you can tell the two apart. Don't forget, coming up over most of these Mojo 50 radio stations, it is the encore presentation of Abnormal Realities with Ron and his little friend Rocky. And today...
This was a PG-13 show, so please do not let your kids hear it. This was the replay of Friday's Freaky Friday show.
Yeah, I was watching some of that.
Pretty risky.
All I remember is something about sucking, and then... the word ass was in there, too. Your Daily Mojo made possible by Mr. Class himself, real Ron Phillips over there, spinning the dials radio style. The smallest minority on earth is, in fact, the individual. Those who deny individual rights cannot claim to be defenders of minorities. 6 Semper Tyrannis. Resist stupid. And good night, Doc Thompson. Wherever you are, your bell count is now. See ya. Clear? Yeah, I was sitting there, and you were talking about sucking ass. I was like, wow, this is...
There was a lot more than that.
I'll bet there was. I mean, the whole thing was just a little, I don't know.
It was close to the edge.
Close.
Yeah, well, we kept it on this side of.
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
Did you? You know, it's that damn Elvis Presley. It's that damned Elvis Presley.
Good morning, Mojo 50. I'm Leprechaun, and here with the bell count for the Daily Mojo, Monday, November 15th, 2021. Today there were no missed innuendo bells that I caught. 9 actual bells. Good job, boys. Stay healthy. Peace out, and I'll talk to y'all mañana.
Peace out.
I just saw this tweet from Big Pharma Steve. Because I worked with a guy who was a pecker checker in the Navy, so yeah, he did it for far less than $1,000. Hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, you're right. And in response to that, I say...
Pompero. Pompero.
First thing that popped into my mind was volcano.
I know. When the Asians say it, right?
Pompero.
I don't know. What is Pompero?
Someday Media Matters will catch up to us. I don't know. It's a noun. It is a cold and dry, let's say ex-wife, southwesterly wind that sweeps down over the
Pompero.
pampas of Argentina from the Andes. You know what the pampas are, don't you? You know?
By the way, breaking news, Steve Bannon surrenders to the FBI.
Oh, good. The world is now safer. It's because he didn't show up for the subpoena, right?
That's correct. He was indicted, and he was quoted as saying, "We're taking down the Biden regime."
Huh.
We about to see how this is going to go down.
Wow, this is likely not going to be pretty, is it? Well, we'll get that and more to you tomorrow.
That is a wrap.
See ya.
Where's the other button? Oh, yeah, it's over here. I moved everything around. I can't find